Hello everybody and welcome back to the workshop renovation series. Now, there were a lot of comments on the previous video that said, Matt, you don't need to skip to the end, just show us the entire process of doing this place up. So that's what I'm going to do for you. Let's get going. So I've already done a little bit of work today, and that is mainly working out the floor plan of the workshop once I get it all sorted out. Now, there are a lot of bits of extra equipment on here that I haven't got yet because I've been making a shopping list. So obviously a lot of the things on here I do already have: a bandsaw, a planer, extractor, could just look around, workbench, and some other bits. Basically, some things that I want to add to my arsenal of woodworking tools are a router table, a pillar drill, a sander, disc sander, a bobbin sander, a lathe. I'm going to be using a lathe, could you believe? A compressor for spraying air and stuff like that to like kick up all the dust, so then I can get an air filter that captures all of that dust that I've sprayed up with the compressor. So hopefully I'll come back with a nice clean workshop each day. If only it was strong enough to sweep up all the stuff on the floor as well, eh? I need to get a path table, so similar to the Faithfull MFT table, multifunctional table. It's got like all those holes on top, so you can essentially substitute it for a small table saw. It's good for panel products, so that'll be right in the middle. Router table will be on the end of it. What else do I need to get? That is everything, but let me show you around the workshop to kind of give you an idea of where all these bits are going to be. So coming in through the front door, I haven't been asked to tidy it just yet, so don't judge me. Extractor is going to go sort of round here. This wood isn't going to be here, so extractor will be here. Then I'm going to have a nice extraction run going all the way along, which will feed down to the bandsaw and the planer. Then just need to make sure I've got adequate space either side of this so that when I'm feeding stuff through the thicknesser, it doesn't hit that machine or the back wall there. So a little bit of shifting needs to happen there. Workbench is going to be here, as you probably know. Miter saw is not going to be there. But behind the workbench, we're going to have the glass cabinets, obviously the OSB backdrop and the shelves and stuff going across. But instead of there being empty space below it, that's where my sharpening station is going to be. So I'll have the Tormek there, some sharpening stones here, and hopefully that will force good habits that I'll just be able to do my work here, spin around, sharpen it, go back to the work instead of trailing all the way to the other end of the workshop, which is what I had to do before. So following around, clamp rack is going to be on this wall here. So nice and convenient access from the workbench. Here is going to be where the fireman's pole is going. We're still doing that. Just need to make sure I don't hit my fuse board as my arse comes sliding down it. And spinning round, I've got quite a good idea for this bit here. So I've got this window here that is covered up with curtains at the moment, and it provides really nice natural light. Throughout the day, the sun goes all the way around here, so you're continuously getting direct sunlight, which is the perfect place for a lathe. So that is where I'm going to put the lathe. It's not going to be a big one, just a little mini lathe. I've got one in mind that has 16 inches between centers and a 14-inch swing, I think it is. So yeah, it's quite a nice little size lathe for little ornaments and bowls and some other little bits that I have in mind that might be available to you one day. Don't worry, it's not going to be pens. So in this section, lathe will go right in the middle. Then I'm going to put a board up on this wall so it will separate me from the fireman's pole, and a board down here as well, which is where the ladder is going to be on the opposite side. And on those boards, I'll have all my wood turning tools screwed on there, maybe sandpapers and finishes and things on here. But the best bit is, because I've got this overhang here, what I'm going to do is have a shroud that I can pull down, which will separate me from the rest of the workshop. So as I'm turning and I've got chips flying over, well, probably not chips, I'll have like tools and broken pieces of work that I've destroyed flying over my shoulder. It's not going to cover the rest of the workshop. The shroud will catch it, it'll all fall down by my feet, and then I'll just be able to come down with a extraction hose afterwards, get it all vacuumed up instead of trailing around the entire workshop. So a really good use for this overhang. So continuing on around, let's just brighten this up a bit. So we've got the wood burner there. I managed to get rid of the asbestos sheet that was behind it, which was a fun I didn't realise how heavy that stuff was, but I managed to get rid of that. So what I'm going to do is, once this asbestos tube gets removed by some professionals, because I am definitely not going to try that, once that gets removed, we're going to disassemble the burner. I'm going to keep hold of it, and then I'm going to shift the burner to the corner just behind this shelf here so it's out of the way. And then I'll be using this spot here for a floor standing pillar drill, which will give it a nice little cozy corner to tuck into. And then following it round against the doors, There we go. Against the doors, I'll have a miter saw up along here that will be on some sort of portable stand. I would have loved to have built some sort of miter saw station similar to J Bates, but there just isn't enough room in this workshop to do that. So a portable stand will work really well there because I have a nice width between the two walls, and if I need to open up those doors completely, I'll just be able to fold up the stand, move the miter saw out of the way, and then I'll be able to wheel stuff through the doors. And so that is pretty much it. So like I say, and then in the middle, I'll just have the big path table going all the way along here. And then I don't need to worry about having some sort of table saw in here because I'll be able to do all the work in the center area here. So now I've got that floor plan worked out, I can start moving stuff out of the way in order for the electrician to come in and install all the sockets on the wall. So you can see that he's installed the trunking along the top here where all the cables are going to sit, and then we'll just trail them down from there. So I've got a few sockets to install here. So I need to move this wood first and then just have a general tidy up and maybe put away some of these boxes that I just kind of dumped in here before I was going to Canada. So yeah, I think you got a few time lapses coming your way. Just had the electrician come in, and it turns out that he snuck in while I was away in Canada. And look, I've got light. This is, that makes such a difference. It's a nice warm light as opposed to the cold light that's coming out my LEDs. I mean, obviously we're going to be adding more to the ceiling as well, which is what he's going to be adding next week, but it's cool. I've got something live in here. So I've unpacked a lot of boxes now, and what I'm starting to realize is that I'm kind of just shifting stuff from one place to the other, not really tidying it up. And the reason for that is because I don't actually have anywhere to put them yet. I don't have any shelves up, I don't have any storage or anything like that. It's just kind of being moved from box to a workbench, and then once it's on the workbench, I don't know what I'm doing with it. It's just kind of, I'm chasing my tail with it. I need to wait until I can actually make some furniture for the workshop in order to store a lot of it. So, in the meantime, I'm going to sort out this mezzanine floor because the balcony thing, the handrail is pretty non-existent. There's something there, but it's not really providing a lot of support. So I'm going to maneuver my way up there and then have a look and see what I can do with it. Now, it's just occurred to me that I could just make a very rudimentary ladder in order to get me up and down safely onto this mezzanine floor. Like, I have plans to make a really nice ladder going up it at some point, but obviously that isn't going to happen anytime soon. And I didn't really consider that I could just get by with a simpler option for the time being. That works. Not the best spacing in the world, I suppose, is it? But oh well. Well, that is far easier. Much easier. Look at that. Fancy ladder, eh? Right, so firstly, gonna get those bits of wood that are screwed to the wall out because there's no reason for them being there, and I could probably use them at a later date for something else.